You're listening to Modern Mystic Soul, a podcast dedicated to helping starseeds like you go from awakened to activated. My name is Therese Tucker. I'm an intuitive artist, psychic medium, teacher of intuition, and author of Confidence is Magic. And I'm sitting down to talk with you about the ascension process, the spiritual growth lessons I've learned, and how to move into a more aligned frequency so you can fully experience your destiny. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Modern Mystic Soul podcast. I have missed you. I have taken quite a long hiatus, which I didn't know I was going to take. Apparently, I needed a rest. So I have been out and about, especially if you follow me on YouTube. You've probably seen my weekly Karma Cards episodes, and on Instagram lately I've been sharing pendulum tips. And in the back of my mind I've been like, oh, I miss the podcast, I need to get to it. And for whatever reason I just couldn't get over the hurdle to show up. And the episode you're about to listen to I actually recorded like 5 months ago. So I hope you enjoy it. I just recently reviewed it and I was like, that's good. Why didn't I put that out? I don't know. I don't know what happened. I wish I could. Sometimes, we resist things because of our ego, because we're in stress. And other times we just get a no. Like the moment isn't right yet. And for me, with this podcast, it was the latter. It just wasn't the right moment. But I'm definitely getting now is the time. So I really look forward to sharing this with you. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave comments. You can message me at hello@blythestarlight.com if you want to share some insights. I'd love to hear it. So without further ado, please enjoy this brand new series I've decided to create for you. We are in this incredible time period my team is telling me is called The Choice. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to explore this topic deeply with you, to try and understand what this period of time is about, its significance, and how we can move through it. Because truly, the choices we make moving forward will create an absolutely different life and a whole new earth. I hope you enjoy this series. The hero archetype is one that we all resonate with. That's why movies use this trope over and over again, because it moves you emotionally. Hence why they call it movies. Each of us is the hero of our own life. We were born into our mission of our soul's choosing, and are destined to return to the knowledge of our true selves, hence why we are born to return. In every hero's journey, there is a scene known as the choice point. I will use Star Wars as a perfect example, and because I'm a nerd. The choice point in this film is when the protagonist understands their own power and must decide if this power will be used for good or evil. In fact, it's represented throughout the series with Luke, Anakin, and Rey. They all had to make the decision to either let love or fear guide them forward. Can you feel this energy now fully flowing at this time? Has life become surreal, as if it's a movie itself? This is because we are at the most critical moment collectively. You see, each one of us is on our separate hero's journey, yet we are walking together through a collective culmination point called now. We must all individually make a great choice that will affect the very fabric of time and space as we know it. We are on the precipice of fully experiencing the next density of consciousness. Let's look at the idea of choice through the lens of our journey that that we're on, and a game. Up next, I'm going to talk to you about the game boards and the higher game boards specifically. Stay tuned. Do you want to join the next Spirit Circle? Spirit Circles are virtual gatherings I hold every new moon and full moon, where I'll take you deep into the cosmic codes to receive the messages on how to work in alignment with source energy. The first 60 minutes include energy attunements, journaling, masterminds, guided visualizations, and more. Each Spirit Circle includes a 30-minute psychic Q&A session with me to get answers from your guides and spirit team. Every session is recorded and it's yours to keep to use again and again. If you want to join me for the upcoming Spirit Circle, please go to blythestarlight.com/spirit-circles. I hope to see you there. I want to revisit a topic I talked about in episode 7 of this podcast, Modern Mystic Soul, where I talked about a book by Carla Ruckert called Living the Law of One. Now, Carla was the channel for Ra, for the Law of One material that you often hear me referencing. And in her book, she describes a 2-game board theory. And I think that this is a really good start as we're trying to understand our journey and the choice we're coming up to making. So imagine that we have 2 game boards. Imagine like 2 chess boards. And on the lower game board, the one that we think we're playing, I'm going to call this mundane life. And this is where we think the goal of the game is getting and amassing resources and taking care of ourselves and our family and avoiding danger. All right, so that's the lower mundane game board, what we think life is about. Then, as our consciousness continues to progress higher and higher, as it already is, we start to become aware of the higher game board. And the intention of the higher game board is learning how to become an ethically motivated human being. So we're trying to use our consciousness to not only make the best choices for ourselves personally, but to make the best choices for humanity as a whole and the planet that we live on. This is how we progress into cosmic consciousness. So as we progress higher and higher in our conscious awareness, we naturally leave the lower game board where it's all about our social advancement or our economic advancement, and we start to move into how to truly understand and connect with humanity as a whole. So you become more empathic as your consciousness increases. You start to feel the joy around you as well as the pain around you. And you easily recognize who's hurting, who needs healing, who, in situations where you may have used to be the one seeking for understanding, you choose to be the one who provides understanding. Instead of seeking to be consoled, you start providing consolation where you see it, right? You become more internally sufficient, and therefore you have your awareness starts to become more about giving because you've learned how to fill up your own cup. And so you're now focusing on how can I give in this moment? Is there something for me to give or to receive? That becomes sort of how the mind works in this situation. And our connection with others and our environment becomes the priority in this higher game board. So why is the goal here to move to this higher game board? Because this is how we advance to become a more cosmic civilization. They often in spiritual texts, they refer to humanity as spiritual children. And I don't think that's meant to be a slight on humans. It's simply that we are relatively young as a species compared to other civilizations in the universe. And so in order to kind of sit at the big kid table, we have to learn how to mature in our own environment, right? We have to learn how to mature into a global species versus a territorial species, if that makes sense. And so this word global is actually a huge part of this choice point, because the word global itself has two different associations. And as we go deeper and deeper into this series about the choice, we're going to be talking about this bifurcation and about how everything now has a double meaning to it, right? And in fact, in this bifurcation of systems, in this choice point, the systems almost look identical, meaning how we get from point A to point B almost looks identical. The only thing that's different, really, and it's the hugest difference, but it's the only thing that's truly different is the motivation and intention behind the system. In the next episode of the Choice podcast series, I look forward to sharing more information with you about the bifurcating timelines. Thank you for joining me. You can now find Blythe Starlight on Patreon, where you can join me on the journey of creating more tools for helping people go from awakened in their intuition to activated. Be sure to visit me at blythestarlight.com and subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode of the Modern Mystic Soul podcast, which can also be found on Spotify, iTunes, and all your favorite podcast platforms. You can also find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest as Blythe Starlight. And don't forget to grab your copy of my book, Confidence is Magic, on Amazon today. Until next time, stay magical.